There used to be some pretty strict rules when it came to adoption. Adoptive parents are still put through some really rigorous checks, of course, but for the most part, gone are the days of a child being placed in a home and never seeing or hearing from them again. The face of adoption is changing, and the Franklin couple that you're about to meet is proving that in many different ways. You'd think 8-year-old Jace would ask the hard questions before school got out. But she saved the toughest ones for after school.
She ran up and just said, "Hey, Mom, am I adopted?" And I said, "Yeah, you know that. You and Quinn are both adopted."
And her friends were also curious.
They were kind of like, "Well, then, you know, who's your mom? Or who's your dad?" And Jace is just like, "I don't have a dad." And she just brushes it off. Like, she doesn't think about stuff like that yet.
Maybe not yet, but when she does, Lauren and Riley Garcia will be ready.
We're going to be as honest and open as we can.
She was like just the most beautiful miracle in the world.
For Lauren and Riley, bringing a child into the world once seemed impossible.
We were doing IVF and IUI to try to get pregnant.
After years of trying to conceive, they weren't having any success. How did you get through that as a couple?
Lots of tears.
They hadn't given up, but briefly lost hope that they'd ever have kids. Until one day, the phone rang and everything changed.
I had a relative who actually reached out, knew that we were trying to have one of our own, and then had reached out and said, "Hey, here's the situation." She ended up pregnant and not ready to take on an infant. Obviously, being a relative or family, we kind of had to think that process through, but after not very long, we were just like, absolutely.
Adoption? Well, that wasn't even something the Garcias had considered.
We knew that we wanted to grow our family, and if this was the way that we were going to start it, not knowing how it would go from there on, then we were going to do it.
They said yes. Lauren even made it in time to be there right after the birth.
We've been very lucky.
The Garcias were hoping that luck would continue if they tried to give Jace a brother or sister. But once again, trying to get pregnant only brought pain and disappointment.
At this point, we had gone through the IVF journey again for close to 5 years.
Yeah, we did 2 rounds of egg retrieval.
We had closed that chapter.
They may have thought their story was over, but how's this for a plot twist? When Jace was 7, they received a call there was another baby on the way, this time in just days.
Got a phone call saying, "Hop on a plane." It was go time.
No hesitation.
At that point, you know, we had already adopted Jace, and adoption wasn't even, you know, we didn't even really think of it as like an adoption. We were just having another baby.
Adoption Choice, a Wisconsin nonprofit, helped make it easy.
We enjoy helping form families.
Executive Director Angie Flannery says that's because, in part, the face of those who are adopting is a lot different than it used to be.
The family dynamics have changed significantly over the last even just decade as to who's adopting.
In fact, non-traditional adoptions are growing.
It's single women, single men, grandmas, grandpas, same-sex couples.
And that's not all. The once closed adoption, where records were sealed, had become a thing of the past. Now the majority of adoption papers allow contact with the birth mother.
Probably 95% of adoptions have some type of openness.
That was a big reason the Garcias were chosen to be parents to their 2 children.
And it says a lot about what other people think of us to be able to reach out to us as a couple and say, "Hey, this is the situation, and I want you to, you know, be able to raise the baby."
How will you explain the fact that they have 2 moms and they don't have a dad? Are you concerned about that?
We might not do everything right when we have that conversation, but we will be as honest and as transparent and kind and open to her feelings and try to be as receptive to whatever that she needs from us at that point as possible.
You are changing the face of adoption. How do you feel about that?
It hasn't dawned on us. I feel like we've just been given a miracle, and then we got a second shot at a miracle. So none of it feels like that. I feel like we've gotten our greatest blessings on the most random things that could have ever happened. And if you can just kind of surround your girls and your family and your people with the positivity and the people that love you and put you first and are, you know, will be there for you when you need them, like that's just what we kind of thrive on.
The Garcias are certainly a snapshot of the way families are formed these days. Officials with Adoption Choice say biracial or multiracial children make up about 25% of domestic adoptions, and there's a 15% increase in relative adoptions over the past 5 years here in Wisconsin.